Now it is time to talk about all of the cool new stuff that we have in the game. We have a bunch of cool new stuff. So, the game, as you can see behind me, first big change is, hey, look, guys, the UI is totally, completely different. And you'll see we actually have, here, I'll crack it open real quick. Not all the UI has changed. You'll notice this is still sort of the old UI. But I want to open up a level real quick. You'll notice the in-game UI has also changed, quite radically, in fact. So here's the new in-game UI. A bunch of new things to see. First and foremost, you will notice the bar that we put all of the factions and whatnot. This is your regiment bar. This is where you keep all your dudes. And one thing that we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure that, and let me move myself out of the way while we do this. One thing I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that you clearly understood what was a hero and what was not a hero, right? Hero, not a hero. And so by making the heroes substantially bigger, now you can very clearly say, oh, okay, that's a hero, that's not a hero, right? And so that differentiation is very clear now. We completely redid, the look and the feel. Again, we put a lot of these Rococo elements in. We have a nice control mechanic. If you click and hold stuff, you can actually see what's going on. You can see here's the unit and all the stuff about the unit. If you come over here, you click the powers, you can see here's what's going on with the powers. I think this looks pretty good now. So I'm pretty excited about all of this. One of the other big changes is up here at the top. You can't see it right now because I'm in planning phase. By the way, when planning phase is over, this thing here is your next unit thing, so you can move from unit to unit. A thing pops out and tells you what phase you're in. Right now, it won't show you very much because there's not a lot going on. But you'll see, boop, it goes through the different phases and tells you which phase you're in, and then finishes. Later on, when I've got a bunch more stuff going on with curses and stuff like that, we'll actually see it go through each one of the phases. But now there's a very clear, very obvious indicator to you. This bit up in the right-hand side, again, going back to the time period, in that particular time, clocks and mechanized tools and things became a big thing. And so I wanted to have that sense of clockwork machinery in our UI. And I think having, this little thing pop out and be like, doo-doo-doo, that feels very, little gears turning and stuff. I think it's cute. I'm actually really down with that. This bit here on top of the regiment bar, that green actually indicates that I am playing as green right now. And if I were to play as red or blue or some other color, that would actually shift to red or blue or some other color. I don't know if it does right now, but it will in the future. So, update to support segregated hero slots and game screens. So that's that we've done. Update to support new design change. Minions can only be summoned if heroes are in play. So right now, if I don't have the hero that's involved with that guy, I can't summon the guys from that hero. You'll see that when we play. You'll notice, by the way, the new regiment actually gives us a total of 11 units, 2 heroes plus 9 other units. That's one more unit than we used to have. So there's that. So I was looking at the old way that we chose our regiments, and I didn't like it. And the main reason I didn't like it was very difficult for me to select a hero and figure out when I select this hero, what's that get me? What's the value of this hero? Why would I want this? And what I was looking at is I was looking at some other games, and I'll be honest, I was looking at the way you built a deck in Hearthstone. And one of the things I liked about it was it had these large pages that had all the cards sort of spread out in front of you, and you could see all the cards at a glance. The other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to fill the screen with pretty art. I wanted to make sure that you saw a lot of pretty things on screen. And so now most of the screen is actually filled with pictures of units. You'll notice they're all grayed out. They're grayed out because I've already put them in my regiment. So let us, for the moment, I will remove him from my regiment. You'll see he now turns colored, which means he is a guy I can select, right? And I can click on him. I can get even more info. We'll make this bigger and prettier later, but this will be where we have the story info and all that about him. And it's also, by the way, where you can go through each one of the different abilities and see, this is what each one of these minion abilities does, and you get a very, you see everything you want to know right here. But I can look at this one big layout and very quickly say, here's what I get if I choose this faction. I get these guys, right? And as you can see now, if I go through the other factions, only the hero is colored. And the hero being colored is the player language for, oh, these are selectable, right? Right now, I can't add these squirrels to my regiment because the squirrels are part of Hollythorn's regiment and I'm not bringing Hollythorn. Now, if I drag Hollythorn over, bam, now all of these become colored, which is the language to tell you, oh, now you can bring any one of these guys over into your regiment. And so now I know that all the stuff, and now I get a very nice one-shot image of here's what Hollythorn gets you. She gets you hunters and spider mounts and an ancient arachnid and the waspine and a bunch of goblins and shit. So you can very quickly look at that and then very quickly, oh, okay, that's what that guy is. He does that. So that's the big new feature. I like this setup a lot better. I'm really happy with it. Obviously, it looks like shit because there's no art in it, and there's some changes I want to do to it to improve it, but it's definitely going in the right direction. It's very quick and easy for me to figure out what I'm looking at. One of the things I want to do to it in the future is I want to make this panel more themed to the faction, because right now you're just looking at this and it just looks to you like a set of cards. It doesn't look like it doesn't look to you like this is the Mugroot faction and there's no history of Mugroot. There's no nothing. I would like to actually have a panel here next to it that says Mugroot, and you learn, and it's got a little bit of information about Mugroot. Maybe it's got a crest or something that this is the Mugroot crest. I would like the panel that all these cards sit in to be colored differently based on which faction you're in. And I know that sounds trivial and like, well, that's not really important. But if you think forward about later on, I want you getting new factions to be a big deal. I want there to be some sort of celebration to it that's not just here, have 5 new cards, right? I want it to be, look, now there's this new panel and this new panel has new stuff on it. And I want there to be a sense of discovery and excitement about getting a new faction. And hopefully, if things go well, we do DLCs, and later on you'll be like, okay, the new DLC is these, 3 new factions. And as you unlock those factions through the new story, that would be kind of cool. People always talk about wanting lore, but there's always the question of, when I put the lore in the game, where does it go? How do I express that lore? How do I tell the story to the player? And while having a story, an obvious story that you could play through with obvious story based on what's is part of it, another part of it is introducing little snippets of lore and little snippets of that into screens like this. So that's something I'd like to do when we actually make the real version of this screen. So there is all of that. I'm going to be back next week. We're going to have new changes, new stuff, new cool things. It's all going to be great next week. I'm really excited about how the game is going. I want to thank everybody that came. I want to thank everyone for being supportive and being interested in what we're doing. Thank you, everybody, for being here. If I have any one request, keep coming. That's it.